keynote speeches as chief analyst, chief strategist, and chief field operative for the American royalty empire struck back Fast and Five Furious Team Foundation and tell them now it's just about location, location, location. Where should the foundation spheres be located? Chicago, Obama's hometown, and in front of MacArthur Foundation's front lawn? Or should it be in front of the White House or the UN on the East River in New York City? Should the foundation sphere be in front of or next to Eiffel Tower, and the foundation will raise money and ask the Paris government allowance as the seventh wonder of the world next to the Eiffel Tower in Paris? Should it be in Tokyo in Russia? Or should it be in the capitals of all the major 5 continents? Or should it be in front of the administrative building of Lee Barnes at Columbia University, next to the sundial? Of course, the foundation sphere is all about location, location, location. As Donald Trump runs for the president, you can tell him that he's missed the point. White House is all about politics, politics, politics. The phrase location, location, location comes from him. And of course, the fact of the matter is that this is what the iPhone 4 is about, besides the foundation sphere helping Struck Back Five Furious Foundations help make CEO, directorship, presidents decisions about funding with less endowments than the White House. And of course, the NSA will be funding it for the future NSA's foundation sphere. In social web pages, helping them make decisions about who to watch in the public versus NYPD ambushes and Columbia and Princeton ambushes never listened to the 5 foundation spheres issues, advisements, and warnings. And of course, you can tell that's the US DOJ SDNY, and of course, D.E. Shaw looking for technology to help make CEO decisions of D.E. Shaw Hedge Fund, that he should be participating in donating funds to the 5 foundation sphere issues. The first wonder of the new world versus the 7 wonders of the past worlds. It's all about location, location, location. Now that you have secured the funding from the venture capitalists from the Silicon Valley, Steve Jobs Special Edition Airborne Max Lincoln Center, and of course iOS and Google Gingerbread Boy Special Edition to us upgrades in the future, and secure funding from world government versus the CERN and Fermilab reactors, the informatics collider versus the particle collider is what the legacy of the 5 foundations' contribution to the 4 cornerstones of planet Earth is. Location, location, location versus ideas, ideas, ideas. Tron Legacy Prize is not to fail now. Now, to remind you, this is what the iPhone 4 really looks like. And what it really is for. Tell Stephen Wolfram on Mathematica and Microsoft 14 on iOS of Jim Cook, and tell Steve Jobs and Tim Cook, Apple. This location, 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 ideas, 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 what iPhone 4 is really all about. And what it's really always meant for. And some people realize they're faster than the youngest MacArthur Prize winner, Stephen Wolfram, Caltech Physics. And remind Murray Gell-Mann and Caltech's friend, computer grid, to tell MacArthur winner Stephen Wolfram he's a little bit behind the corner versus these guys. And what the iPhone 4 is really meant for MIT physics and its instructional programs. And of course, Kindle, where MIT textbooks and research papers carried by faculty, students, and staff members of iLibrary on iPhone. And of course, Kindle libraries will have all the textbooks so that people wouldn't have to carry briefcases anymore, and have all the research papers accessible from Kindle or iPhone iOS. And of course, this changes everything from iPhone 4 versus this. Versus the Einstein theory and the search for the cosmological constants. iPhone 4 and iOS and Tiger OS Special Edition for us this June 1st, you can tell them. It's all about iPhone for iOS platform for Mathematica and MapleSoft versus Einstein theory displayed in a space-time program, a Mathematica equivalent on iOS iPhone 4 White's here. Remind Steve Jobs of future upgrade update of iOS and clocking up the speed of CPU and GPU on my two iPhone 4 1 and 2 of IBM Building Research Boston Home Center, and of course the IBM supercomputer iPhone 4 2 itself versus space-time, the program. Nothing else like the iPhone 4 computing engine, handheld. And of course, the other fact of the matter is that when you do an iLibrary search of textbooks and scientific research papers, MIT instructional programs along with the Amazon Kindle library will allow you to be able to do in the iPhone and Amazon Kindle readers, ebook readers, to click on spotlight, highlight one paragraph, one sentence, one page, or even one chapter. And the search engine of Spotlight of iPhones and Tigers and Apples will allow you to search through iLibrary or Amazon Kindle book library and all the scientific research papers digitized for other papers that contain similar content in their papers and articles of their highlighted paragraph, sentence, or chapter if you highlight it in iLibrary versus iBooks. And this brings iLibrary to much more than what the Nextcube was with Mathematica. Nextcube is, of course, the Steve Jobs and Google's foundation supporting the foundation sphere, along with the NSA for the future of NSA research on the population eavesdropping criteria, and funded by D.E. Shaw on Wall Street for helping in the system of technology to help CEO D.E. Shaw make better managerial, administrative, and search for genius prices decision-making, as he had asked for technologists to help in advertising careers sites last year. To remind D. Shaw himself to help support the five furious Strike Back Foundation sphere issues, the NSA, and world governments and informatic colliders versus particle colliders, to help them make better decisions on limited endowment funds of the five furious foundations and how to spend it and who to spend it on versus valuing those who hold dog shit and watch them sniff bacteria. It's more than symbolism. It's what humanity represents in who they marry and who they ambush by Columbia, Princeton, NYPD, Starbucks, and Apple Store USBs. Reprieved by Steve Jobs on June the 1st, special edition of Airbrook Max. Mine Steve Jobs and Tim Cook and Apple and Google now and D Show. And of course, Guth Universe in the Box will be the legacy of MIT versus the CERN reactors. Universe in the Box representing, of course, informatic particles collider versus physics particle colliders. The dry lab versus the wet lab or CERN laboratories. The D. Shaw talk at MIT C-Cells many years ago. Now take a look at this. What else iPhone is meant for. Just to remind you, this is what iPhone was meant for. Hold on. Doing chemistry research here. OrgoChem. Chem Pro. Chemistry equation. Learn organic chemistry. Khan Academy on chemistry versus MIT Academy on instructional physics programs on MIT iOS 4 special editions of mine.